A certain appellate court is aiding Donald Trump in his efforts to be an imperialist, a king, a dictator, and now Hampton Dellinger, who had been appointed and confirmed by the Senate to stop federal workers from being retaliated against, from being abused, for being whistleblowers, for being fired in a partisan way. He himself, fired in a partisan way by Donald Trump as the head of the Office of Special Counsel, has decided to throw in the towel because a 3-judge panel of the D.C. Court of Appeals has decided that he should be out of his job while the appeal goes on. See, sometimes by just taking somebody out of their position, not granting a temporary restraining order, reversing the restraining order, and forcing an appellate briefing schedule, it appears to be neutral on its face, but it really has real-world consequences. As Hampton Dellinger said, it's an uphill battle. A Trump appointee will be in his place for the next several months and undo all of his work, and he wants no part of it. I want a part of it. I'm on the MeidasTouch network in Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok. I just reported the other day that in a very bizarre decision, a 3-judge panel had reversed a very, very well-reasoned opinion by Judge Amy Berman Jackson in the D.C. courts, in which she ruled that Donald Trump did not have the power to unilaterally remove the head of the Office of Special Counsel, charged with independence by Congress to protect federal workers, he himself being removed as a federal officer without cause. She relied, I believe appropriately, on a case from 1935 that we're going to be talking a lot about because there's 3 decisions in the last 48 hours coming out of the D.C. courts that rely on Humphrey's executor, a name of a case from 1935 involving Hoover, President Hoover of all things. I mean, Donald Trump's the modern day Herbert Hoover, and the Federal Trade Commission, establishing the precedent that's been reaffirmed by the United States Supreme Court in 1958, in 2010, in 2020. Seemed like a no-brainer to me until I got the 3-judge panel that came out, which was an Obama appointee, a Biden appointee, and a Trump appointee. And they came out and said, well, we think Hampton Dellinger is going to lose under Humphrey's executor, or they're not going to find that case to apply. They took him out of his job while he was appealing. In other words, they had him with his nose pressed up against the candy store looking in while for 3 or 4 months of a briefing schedule went on. Now, on the face, that was reported as, well, they reversed or blocked the temporary restraining order by Judge Amy Berman Jackson, but it's just a briefing schedule. Just a briefing schedule. Hampton Dellinger threw in the towel. He said, all of my work will be undone. He just filed a claim on behalf of 5,000 fired workers because he prosecutes his matters along with the Merit Service Protection Board, 2 entities that were established in 1978 by the Carter administration to protect workers as they were reforming civil servants in the civil service process. That's what Donald Trump should be doing. If he wants to fix a problem, he doesn't just fire everybody and leave us without our services and our connectivity between the government and the American people. But no, he can't do that. So through executive order, he just fires everybody. See, the Constitution is silent about how you remove a federal officer, impeachment, other than through impeachment, except Congress in setting up certain independent quasi-judicial bodies like the Federal Trade Commission, the Interstate Commerce Commission, the National Labor Relations Board, the Office of Special Counsel, said that to keep them nonpartisan and independent at the very DNA of their existence, to keep the president, whoever it is, out of their way, only allows their removal if it is for cause and on due process. Donald Trump said, I think that encroaches on my unitary theory of the executive branch. My imperial presidency, my dictatorship is being impinged. And the result is we've got Hampton Dellinger throwing in the towel. He said out loud in response, he said, I believe that the District Court of Appeals is wrong. But for the next 3 or 4 months, somebody will take my chair that's a Trumper, he didn't say this last part, and they will undo everything that I've done. And so that's not what I wanted. It effectively has given Trump the relief he wanted by blocking me from my job for the next 3 or 4 months when it matters. See, that's what happens when the ivory tower hermetically sealed judges don't recognize the consequences of their action, or they don't care about them. So I would have hoped, and I did a hot take, that that case would have joined with the case about the Merit Service Protection Board person being removed, would have joined with the case that came out yesterday of Beryl Howell, Judge Beryl Howell, in which she stopped the removal of the only, of a Democrat and the only black member of the National Labor Relations Board. No president has ever removed anyone from that position in 95 years since it was created, all relying on the 1935 case of Humphrey's executor, which the NLRB happened, as Judge Beryl Howell reminded everybody, was created 2 months after that case was decided. So obviously Congress knew about that case. So I thought that case, the one involving Gwen Wilcox, the case involving Hampton Dellinger, and the case involving Kathy Harris on the Merit Service Protection Board, we're kind of going to go up together to the United States Supreme Court. But Dellinger's out. He's out. I know Hampton. I knew him when he was a law student. He and I played basketball when his father was my constitutional law professor, the late, great Walter Dellinger, Solicitor General of the United States under Clinton, Office of Legal Counsel under Clinton, shortlisted for the Supreme Court. But there was a big gap between Clinton and the next Democrat, and he sort of aged out of that process, but it died a couple of years ago. But Hampton is a Boy Scout. He's somebody you want in civil service. He's somebody you want heading a department like that. And I'm sure he'll be rewarded, maybe even with a Supreme Court position when the Democrats get back in power. But for right now, that is the reporting. We'll continue to follow it. You're here on MeidasTouch. Take a minute, hit the free subscribe button, hit Legal AF. Come on over there too. That's our collaborative channel we're doing at the intersection of law and politics. We're going to hit 500,000. We're about 3,000 or 4,000 away. We're going to hit it this weekend. I guarantee it, with your help. We're completely independent, pro-democracy, no outside investors. Come on over there. Join us on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, and of course, the Legal AF podcast. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.